Stories made up entirely on the spot. You're watching Random Stories of Nonsense.
The tiny warlock hummed with excitement. It was his time to melt the iron into the pot, into the stew. He was going to make a potion that would create the world's first amiable suspect. And he was going to do it tonight. He crept all over to the wall, climbed up the pantry, and grabbed off a vial of turpentine. He grabbed a pinch of leather beans. And the last ingredient he needed was a walnut. Bloop. He stirred for 14 minutes. He tasted. Just right. But still needed something. Something sweet. Something smelly. Something with an aroma that would make you say, "Get me some sauce in here." And he knew just what that was. A whack. He needed a whack. But what was a whack? Was it a whip? Was it a bulb? Was it a club? He didn't know. He just guessed random objects. What was a whack? Did it stand for something? William attributes crazy killers. Or was it not that? Was it something different entirely? And then he realized when he was in 3rd grade, his teacher taught him what a whack was. A whack was another name for salt. So he just grabbed some salt and put it in, and bam! The cauldron and potion were ready. So he took the cauldron. He set it on top of the table, and he stepped away. And he said to himself, "Self, I think I need to self-reflect and ponder upon what I've created here. Because once this gets out on the market, and I can get this into companies like Costco and Walmart and on the shelves, and make a good buck, then I can purchase my own island." And he started to game plan, created his business plan to put in front of venture capitalists and other types of investors. He wasn't any ordinary warlock. He was a money-driven guy, and he was going to get this in the market. So he put them in bottles, and he bottled them up, and he went to his first meeting. But little did he know, his first meeting was scheduled with Timmy Tims. And Timmy Tims was no hardballed nose grinder. He was a man of principle. And he wasn't going to give his money away to just anybody. He was only going to give it away to 2 people. Linda and a guy who could convince him that what he had was something he wanted. So he'd already committed to Linda. And he had a couple million left for this other guy. So the warlock opened the door. Peeked his head in. "Hey, I have a meeting with you." "Yes. Yes. Yes, come on in. And the warlock looked at him and stepped in. "Yeah, so I have this potion that..." "Oh, yes. Yes. Give me more information. I want to hear more about it." And the warlock said, "Okay, yeah. It's a potion to make people suspect." "Oh, yes. Okay, very good. Why is that needed?" "Well," and that's as far as he'd thought on his business plan. He just wanted to make the potion. He didn't know what it was used for, but he thought of something quick. "Well, I figure it could be used in detective work." And he looked at the old man and he stared at him, trying to get any glimmer of light from his eyes that what he was saying was a good idea. The old man didn't say yes, and move his hands towards himself. He stared back at the warlock. And the warlock almost broke his stare, thinking maybe what he said wasn't good, but he continued to stare even harder and stared back at the old man. And the old man broke himself in half. And the warlock's like, "How did you do that? You can break your body in half?" And he goes, "No, it was a mistake. I'm getting older." And he cracked himself back together so he was one whole human again. And he said, I like this idea. What's your name? And he said, my name's Carl. And he stared at him. And Timmy Timson said, Carl? No last name? And he said, Carl. And he looked outside to see the weather, and he said, Carl Weathers. And Timmy said, that sounds like an actor's name. And the warlock stared at him and said, does it? And stared at him. And he said, and the old man broke in half again and cracked his back again and said, oh no, that's fine. All right, I'll give you millions of dollars to sell your product. We can get it into Walmart, Costco, and Target. And the warlock said, yes! And in that moment, he realized he had his VR goggles on the whole entire presentation. So but the VR goggles were like looking at the world. So he could see things, but people couldn't see him. And that's why it worked. Moral of the story, if you're trying to get venture capitalists onto your product, don't look them in the eye unless you've got a VR on your face.